Five Nights at Freddy's 4 is my favorite game of all the original FNAF games. From the truly frightening designs of the nightmare animatronics to the weird nostalgia I get from seeing the bedroom we play in, this game is filled with so many decisions that make it stand out. Today, I want to discuss what exactly makes FNAF 4 unique from every other game in the series, and why it will always be one of my favorite Five Nights at Freddy's games. What better place to start with FNAF 4 than the main stars of the show? They've had better days, far better days in fact. The nightmare animatronics are all dirty, torn up, and just completely destroyed. At a surface level, it just sounds like the Wizards, but there's way more to them than that. The rips and tears on these characters are much more intense and widespread, reminding me more of claw marks than any kind of natural decay. This works very well to make these animatronics feel like true nightmares, scary monsters lurking in the darkness, hunting you down. The choice for these guys to just be nightmares, hallucinations of a scared and confused child, allow for a ton more creativity to be put into the designs. Certain features of them are exaggerated greatly in order to enhance the scare factor. If Scott did this with any other characters, it just wouldn't make much sense and the designs would suffer. That's one reason why I love this game so much. It throws away trying to look like real animatronics and goes all in on just trying to be as scary and frightening as possible. The teeth are a prime example of this in action. All the nightmares have many extremely sharp teeth, and multiple rows of them too. Not only that, they're very organic looking, adding to the surreal and terrifying feeling of being in a nightmare. The characters in general just feel very sharp. The teeth, the long metal claws, the tear markings, and even all the toes all feel this way. Each nightmare animatronic also has something that makes them stand out from the others. Bonnie has his rabbit ears, of course, but he also has a large tear in his chest, allowing you to see more of the inner endos these characters have. This metal part that's exposed has always been his standout for me. It kind of reminds me of a zipper, which I know is a weird comparison, but it kind of works. It's like he's been unzipped to where you can see all the parts inside. It is just part of the endo, but it's fun to think about that way. Chica's mouth and head is her standout feature, other than the cupcake, of course. She appears to be based more on Wither Chica, leading to a large opening. Behind her beak and teeth, you can actually see straight through her. It makes it feel like her mouth is endless, and that she could pull a FNAF movie Freddy on you. It's fitting for the character, and helps to sell the nightmare she's meant to be. The Let's Eat bib, torn to almost nothing, adds to it as well. Freddy is kind of the default, and doesn't have anything himself that stands out like the others. He does, however, have the Freddles. These things are basically chihuahuas. If you have one, you know what I'm talking about. They're really the most evil little creatures in this entire game. You'll mostly be seeing them over Freddy anyways, unless you end up dying. The last of the main four animatronics is Foxy, and he's a bit of a special case. Now, originally he had a tongue, but this got scrapped just before release because Scott found it to not be scary in actual gameplay, just in the teaser renders.
Because I didn't think it was it was scary on the teaser. You know, there's something about those those long snake-like demonic tongues that they're kind of cool in theory.
It's a shame because I think it could have been really terrifying if used right in game. Regardless, Nightmare Foxy is still a highly frightening design. Obviously, the sharp hook is his standout, but during the game, it's his wide open mouth. The tearing and exposed metal near his nose really add to the whole design too. He also has fully exposed endo legs, unlike the other nightmares, which matches his design from the first game. I mean, just look at him in this pose where he's crouching in the darkness of the closet. He's just so creepy and I love it. That's just the main four, but there's a few more also. Plushtrap is one of these, and honestly, I don't have too much to say about him. It's a cool idea to have a plushie turn into a monster, and is really fitting for a nightmare. He's less decayed than the others, and the teeth are toned down quite a bit too. The real nightmare of this game doesn't get revealed until the later nights. Fredbear and his counterpart, simply named Nightmare. These two are perfect designs for characters that are meant to be in a child's nightmare. Fredbear has significantly more teeth than the others, and does a similar thing to Chica with a gaping hole behind his jaws. His decay and coloring, especially on the legs, are again very reminiscent of claw markings. The true standout feature of Nightmare Fredbear is no doubt his large mouth that's in his chest. This is terrifying and very fitting for the style of these characters. He's the most nightmare looking character of all the nightmares. Fun fact about me, I've had 2 nightmares about Five Nights at Freddy's my entire life, and both of them were about Nightmare Fredbear. Hopefully writing this just before bed doesn't make me have a third. His design is the scariest to ever come out of Five Nights at Freddy's, and it's not even close. Oddly enough, Nightmare himself doesn't scare me nearly as much, but it's still an amazing design. The animatronics have truly amazing designs, some of the best across the entire series. They're not just scary looking though, they're actually used incredibly well in the gameplay of Five Nights at Freddy's 4. The gameplay of FNAF 4 is no doubt very simple, but also very distinct from most of those early titles and even a lot of the newer ones. Yeah, you're still checking doors, using the flashlight, and listening for sounds, but the way these gameplay elements are used here is just top notch. The main aspect used is the audio, whether listening for footsteps, Foxy switching sides or entering the closet, or even the freckles piling up on the bed behind you. You're always listening for something. The idea of being in the dark, stuck with monsters you can hear but not see, is intimidating and really adds to the true horror of this game. Sure, you have your light and you can use it to see them for a tiny bit before they hide away, but the light is also what kills you. This was the first game in the series where being quick isn't always a good thing. Sometimes that breathing at the doors just takes a little bit too long to start playing. Sitting there in anticipation is truly agonizing, even if only for a second or two. The thing about a good jump scare is not the jump scare itself, but the anticipation leading to it. FNAF 4 is the best example in the entire series of this. Take FNAF 1 for example. When someone has gotten into your room, you know just from hitting the light or the door. FNAF 2 has a different problem. The gameplay is so hectic, and there's pretty much always someone in your office. You can fall into a routine and there's no longer any anticipation leading to a scare. This game rides the perfect line of a ton of anticipation and suspense, while not overwhelming the player with too many threats for it to actually be scary. Another great part of the gameplay is the surprise switch up that occurs both between nights and more notably on night 5. Between nights, you play a minigame with Plushtrap. It tests both your hearing and patience and is a great little warm up before each night. It's simple, but I really do think it adds to the game, and I enjoy the addition of it. Night 5 is when we first see Nightmare Fredbear, and he replaces all the other animatronics. Sounds kind of boring at first, but this night is amazing. This night is the best night in FNAF 4. The best part here is that you actually get to see your enemy up close. Instead of breathing, Fredbear will scurry back and forth between the halls. Once you think he's stopped at one, you go to it and check. Again, he doesn't breathe, but you can see him with the flashlight. These shots are the best renders in this game, and some of the best across the entire series, at least in my opinion. Can you guys tell I like FNAF 4? I mean, just look at this. He's a big scary monster right outside your bedroom door. How could you not be scared of this? The gameplay here is also just incredible. Every moment is thrilling and frightening. Once you get to night 6, the game does something quite unique for FNAF. It will switch from the main 4 attacking you to Fredbear during the night. It's a real surprise when it happens, and it works very well as kind of a final boss night for the game, if you want to call it that. I didn't even mention when he actually enters your room. This shot of Nightmare Fredbear's giant head sitting on the bed is a shock every single time I see it. The closet appearance is similar to Foxy, but here it's somehow even more terrifying. Nightmare Fredbear is absolutely peak character design for a horror game. I'd go so far as to put him up there with Springtrap as one of the best designs across the series, and just in indie horror as a whole. This game also features a few extra modes, leading to a total of 10, yes, 10 stars that you can get on the menu, the most of any FNAF game. There's a ton of variety here, but essentially they just make the game harder. The standout one for me is easily the blind mode. Like I said before, the sound in this game is very important. So important that you can literally beat it without seeing anything. While sure, you can technically beat other games in the series blind, that's mostly just random luck. This one is designed specifically for it. I love this as an addition to the game. The other bonus modes are admittedly not as interesting, but they're still nice things to include. The best part about them is that they don't take away from the scares of the game. FNAF's max modes have always had issues with having to prioritize a specific routine, leading to way less scary gameplay. The variety featured here helps to fix that issue, and these modes remain scary. Overall, the gameplay of Five Nights at Freddy's 4 is so simple yet so strong and distinct for the series. It calls back to the first game, where Bonnie and Chica are on your left and right, where you're checking doors for the animatronics, but evolves on the concept beautifully. As you know, if you've been subscribed to me for a while, by the way, if you're not subscribed, you really should be. Anyways, if you know anything about me, it's that I love just absolutely yapping about the locations and environments of the series. Five Nights at Freddy's 4 is no different. It's got a ton of charm and uniqueness to it. It's such a shift from any other game in the series, being in a house instead of a pizza place. This house reminds me of like a grandma's house, you know what I mean? It feels a bit outdated, and because of that, there's some kind of weird nostalgia associated with it. Because of this, it is a very creepy environment. The house fits the theme of a nightmare perfectly, and this makes it easily one of the scariest environments that the series has ever created. The nightmare characters are right at home, literally, and the atmosphere of the house is the best fit possible for them. These animatronics being in one place that should always be safe is just truly terrifying. The actual details in the house all work very well too. It does feel like a child's room with colorful toys scattered about, the stars hanging from the ceiling, and the plushies sitting on the bed and in the closet. As with everything else in this game, the theming here is just incredible. In addition, the hallways provide a more sinister feel than the room itself. The left hall has the iconic grandfather clock, which a lot of people mistake for something standing at the far end of the hall. The right hall has windows, which are actually really cool. I didn't know until doing research for this video, but you can actually see the animatronics reflections in the windows when they're in the hall. What a crazy thing to include, but now that I know that happens, I really love that detail and addition. For being so simple, this really is one of the most unique settings featured in any FNAF game. Another thing about the FNAF 4 house that works amazingly is the layout itself. In the past, I have criticized it for not making the most sense in the world, which I still kind of agree with. However, in terms of being a space made for a video game, I love it. The building is utilized perfectly by the animatronics. The best example of this is Foxy hiding in the closet. It is a true classic for a little kid to say that there is a monster hiding in the closet, and FNAF 4 approaches that very directly by, well, literally putting a monster in the closet. Another thing that the animatronics do that is really chilling is when they peek around the corner at the far end of either hall. It makes it feel like every corner has something lurking, waiting to attack you, which in this game, they kind of do. Here I also want to talk about the ambient sounds of FNAF 4. The most notable of these is a dog barking, but that's not all. Since the whole game is about listening, you hear every quiet sound that was added to the ambience track. These add immensely to the immersion of the game and really help to sell the nightmare. They all make sense too, as if you really are just in your house, hearing the quiet sounds of the night outside, something that honestly would normally be quite peaceful. This game turns that pretty normal situation into something to be truly terrified of. It's just another reason why I love the fourth game so much. Overall, the simple environment and theming of FNAF 4 is used highly effectively in combination with the frightening animatronics to immerse you in the nightmare the game is trying to be. Five Nights at Freddy's as a series loves to reuse old characters and settings, and the FNAF 4 assets are no different. The first instance of this is in Ultimate Custom Night, where we see the bedroom as a playable office, and the return of Nightmare Freddy, Bonnie, Fredbear, and just Nightmare himself. Oh yeah, Plushtrap is here too as a hidden character. Oh yeah, Nightmare Chica is also here as a hidden character. Their appearances here is cool, but nothing spectacular. The appearance of these characters in Help Wanted is far more interesting to talk about. VR takes these absolute beast of characters and increases their horror immensely to the next level. Again, VR is obviously a big reason for this, and it makes me a little upset that they didn't bring more of the nightmares to the game. Curse of Dreadbear does a fantastic job utilizing the nightmares, specifically the hallway level. Remember the right hall in FNAF 4? They took that and just made it more peak than it already is. I don't even know how that's possible. This level is so scary with the lightning strikes and all the nightmares. They come together to create something truly special. Unfortunately, those are the only other times we've gotten to see the nightmares outside of FNAF 4. I hope that changes in the future though. I know they're kind of a niche style to be able to use in a way that really makes sense, but they're just so peak, I need to see more of them. This is a major ask for something that we will probably never see, but I need a FNAF 4 movie as soon as possible. I just need to see more of these nightmare characters because they're awesome. Something more likely to happen would probably be a 5 Laps at Freddy's appearance, although I don't know if that's really what I want or need from the nightmares. Maybe a FNAF World 2 would be more peak with more of the nightmares. Speaking of, I should make a FNAF World video. I think it's long overdue considering how much I talk about it in other videos. I think I've mentioned it in my past like 2 or 3 videos and many others too. I think it's time to make a FNAF World video. I originally started scripting this video with the intent of covering why FNAF 4 works so well, and I do think I did that, but I think deep down inside, I really just wanted to yap about the characters. I love the Nightmare animatronics, and I've seen that a lot of people don't, or at the very least, they're kind of divisive in the community. They say the game is too over the top and it leads to not being scary, but I just have to strongly disagree with that. This game is just its peak, and we need more FNAF content like this. If you like the video, be sure to like it and hype it because that helps me out a ton. Leave a comment letting me know what you'd like to see a video about next, and subscribe for a ton more FNAF content. The next video will be a Halloween Horror Nights summary and review since I'm going next week. After that, who knows? Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye, superstars.